Yeah, for me, I have celebrated it, African culture, food number one, and then we did do Kwanzaa. We did Christmas and Kwanzaa, and even with Christmas, my mother made sure that we had Black Jesus painted um, in the house. And geesh, I've been grateful to. I'm just grateful for the artists that I've worked with because they've exposed me to so much. And Boston has the African festival that they do every year, and it's just dope to see people. Um, it sparks interest in other to want to know more about the culture. As far as like preserving it, for me personally, with my daughters, is this. It was them coming to the Museum of Fine Arts and experiencing that whole ordeal. It's in how I dress for sure. I can't even believe I forgot about this because it's so embedded in me. But I was learning about the Indinka symbols. I rock my Indinka symbols on my clothes. Actually, Soul Fire movement. I cannot believe I forgot all this. Soul Fire movement is actually an Indinka symbol of unity. It's just it looks like the wave of water, and it's literally I believe it's like the two chains that represents unity. I can't believe I forgot about that because I just want to embed that in. Oh, because I want to embed that. You know what I'm saying? Like that spirit, right? Like let's embed it even through my business to of remembrance. So I think that that's one way. That's how I do it, and then including it in our everyday lives, so that we won't ever forget it in the future, even if the language is lost. Because when we come here for this American dream, they do rip us apart of just our natural, our being. So I hope that answers your question. Damn, that just made me emotional because I totally forgot. This is the example of what happened when I found out. I started embodying it so much that I live it and I be it without even questioning it now. How beautiful is that? Being the example of.
Very
Wow,
righteous.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
Mm. Well,
I say much.
what was the question again?
Yeah,
I forgot the question. I'm just having a moment.
I'm all taken in by the emotion. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know that's something to keep me
Yeah.
quiet.
Right.
But you know what? It's funny. Like when she was talking, there was something that I learned over in South Africa because we would make appointments in our Western ways of meeting with students and just to hear more of their stories and their journey. And I'm like, why are people always late and when they don't show up? And that's when I learned that the way that African culture, some African cultures, it's not about, okay, I got to go from this appointment to that one, but it's just kind of being in the moment. It's a very circular circle, the circle of life. That whole reality is a way of life, and it changes just how you think. And so I know I haven't done the best of it since I've been back, but just trying to create space where I can be slow enough to connect with people because man, America moves so fast, and that's been a challenge. It's just like not having enough time to culturally connect or to hear where people have come from, where they're going, what are their hopes and their dreams. And so I know going forward, that's what I I desire to do. But again, it's just like now that I'm back in the States, it's just like what are the traditions? What are the cultures? Like again, by me growing up in a traditional like way of sense of like a black church, there are certain things that they did. I'm like, why? This just takes all day. But then there's some things that I do appreciate about it now. We can make it a little shorter, but there's things that I appreciate about it now that I didn't appreciate before, in ways that we honor, the elders, we honor the leaders. I appreciate that. And even just like I said earlier, just learning what is Kwanzaa. Again, not to be afraid of it, but how does that connect me? And how does that help me and teach my children and their children to be able to learn about where they come from? And I don't know if you shared this, Marlon, maybe or somebody did during that Kwanzaa talk last year of how like we just don't have an intentional pause. But think about like if slaves had time, those that were time off after Christmas into the new year, where there was time to connect. Now we have a Juneteenth holiday because my husband's family is a part of the Texas cultural history, and they've celebrated Juneteenth both in Texas and Mexico. Just being intentional about pausing and reflecting of what it meant for those soldiers who landed and the people to understand that they're now free, and they could leave. And even just the challenges that they experience post that. So there's several things: Juneteenth, Kwanzaa, just a way of life that is, I don't know, that rejects the Western ways, that causes us to rush and not simply be, not have time to connect with one another, and even and our communities to hear their hearts, their hopes and dreams. So those are the things that I definitely want to preserve and celebrate with our African American and African cultural heritage.
I want to add some things because I forgot. This conversation could go so broad, but some of the things that I've also done that I can't believe I've just embodied things as I've been learning that it's just now beautiful second nature. But, I recommend books. During the panoramic, thanks to the that money that came in, I bought Dr. Laila Africa's whole set volume, and he has so much information about African diaspora, the Gullah folks, and he has this book on Per Ankh about how to embody your home. They call it feng shui, but like Per Ankh is like how you even embody your home in a way with the symbols, like the Steelers symbol, I believe it's like that hook with the sun, because my dad's like a Steelers fan. That is the symbol of like family and unity. And I put that rug, I found a rug where I put it in the dining room where we commune. So, I recommend that off the top, like just the books. And even through my movement practices, I've embodied the African chakras. It's a very broad realm, but I teach that. So we're talking, I hope I answered the question on how do we like keep the legacy going? How do we keep remembering? But as I learn in life in general, I share it with my peers. So a lot of my clients are clear folk. I don't know why, but they there. Maybe because I teach them stuff. And I've talked about the chakras and the African essence of it instead of like the Indian essence, and what these yoga kemet movements mean, and what the African orishas that embody the different symbols, because we pop off with like Beyonce, shout out to her. People have, remarks about it, but shout out to Beyonce because she had the Oshun era going on, and it did spark something, thankfully, in women who wanted to learn more about their African like culture. So, I think during, with the music too, with everyone wanting to learn about African dances, is so interesting because, no offense, and I really apologize for this. Like Nkuru, I think you said this earlier. Somebody said it like it was you, because it was like back in the days. It was, being African was like it was not cool. And I remember, well, I don't know why, but we would call each other African booty scratchers. I don't know if y'all ever heard that before. But like, why? Because we didn't know. We were kids like, oh my God, African booty scratchers. Like me and my cousins like thinking it was a joke, but it's so funny because now it's almost like a fad. Like now everybody want to be African, but I think subconsciously it's making us, the diaspora, wake up to it. Because when these dances are not just dances, like in dance hall and the Jamaican culture, those dances are just not dances. They stem from something. They stem from cooking. They stem from working, and it stems from an essence. So I love that. Through movement, I hope and pray that I'm keeping that legacy of the African culture through movement and through the essence of what I'm learning, and just passing it on to folks that have an interest in wanting to know more. And then I hope it sparks something in them. But I just wanted to say that because Dr. Laila Africa has a great, rest in peace, great set of books about all things from the moon cycles. And also, Marlon, I thought of this where the MFA, like that was a ritual for me. That was a rite of passage. He has a book that talks about African rites of passages, women in the womb cycle. My experience was traumatic because I didn't learn anything, but like those are like rites of passages. And so I appreciate that I had that thought when you were talking, like, oh snap, at the Museum of Fine Arts, that was a rite of passage with the drummers welcoming, wake up, and then we have that white lady introducing me to my culture and reading the things, remember? She's like, welcome to the museum. This is where your people are from. And it's like, okay, thanks. But just joking, but I just wanted to share that.